What's up, Tube? Welcome back to Loguito's Chop Shop, the second best Gel Blaster channel on the Tube. And every now and then, something comes along that just makes you forget everything that came before it. Like the J10 ACR, for example. When the HE ACR came out, everyone was super excited and we're like, yeah, ACR. Can't wait till I get my hands on it. When I first looked at it, I was blown away. I loved the quality of it. I loved the teardown of it. It was amazing. I'm like, this is a great blaster. And then like a week later, Jingming dropped the J10 ACR, and everyone's just like, HE, what was that? Forget about it. Never happened. Well, this is not one of those blasters. In fact, this is one of the opposite. This is one of the forgettable ones. So, not that long ago, the Alpha King came out, and we're like, yeah, Alpha King, this is awesome. And prior to that, there was this. This is the Jingming J11 AK. And it came out a little while ago, and then the Alpha King came out, and everyone just forgot this existed. You know, the Alpha King, it hit hard. And this, well, people just forgot about it. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but it's just one of those things that happens. But we're going to find out what is going on with the J11 tonight. As you can see, Jingming have saved some money on cast tooling by using the exact same stock as the M4A1J9. So, in fact, buffer tube as well. I got the J9 buffer tube and stock on the AK. Alright, before we go too far here, I'm just gonna whack some gels in it and chuck it on the chrono. Because people like to know that sort of thing. So I will do that, see what it performs like in its standard form. Now, before I get too far into it, I'm just going to mention a couple of things that I've just noticed. We've gone to the old opening door style of mag, which is not a bad thing. I like that. I was always a bigger fan of that. However, let's see in here. Can you see this? The spring here. You can see it's already bent over because of the way the AK mag has to first click in there and then rock into place. Not sure that springs were the greatest idea for having as the mag terminals there. Yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. Let's get it on the chrono. Alright, here we go. J11 on the chrono. Oh, 250, not bad. Alright, not too shabby. Well, what do you know? The J11's got some poke. Also interesting to know, the selector works in the correct manner. So like, well, I mean, when I say correct, I mean when you're in this lower notch here, you're actually semi. Whereas on the Alpha King, you sort of have to push it down past that notch a little bit for it to work. You may also notice the blowback, which I think some of the J11s got and some of them didn't. This particular one did, obviously. Yeah, I mean, out of the box, I got to say, it was a pretty impressive power result. The finish, it could be better. Could be better. I mean, take a look at some of this. The nylon kind of feels cheap and flimsy compared to the Alpha King. Look at this. Look at this flashing along this edge. It's terrible. Like the finish. It's like I don't know, it's like they rushed it out of the mold or something. There's no finishing going on here. There's flash lines all the way around here. It's not a great finish. It does feel cheaper, like when you hold it in your hand. However, compared to something, say like the Gen 8, for example, the original Gen 8, not the latest of the Gen 8s. The original Gen 8 was cheap, plastic, nasty. I mean, yeah. So it's a step up from some of the older blasters, but still compared with what I guess we're used to. If I'd have seen this before I saw the Alpha King, maybe I would have had a different opinion. But yeah, like just some of the finish is terrible. Alright, let's take a look inside this thing. Start with this dust cover. Should be able to push this button and release it. There we go. What on earth is that? Giving you a hairband in there as well, in case you want to do your hair into a ponytail or something. What even is that? Alright, so that's the blowback mechanism. I can't even tell how that works. Oh, right, I see. So it's got a special little plunger. Let me zoom. So it's got this special plunger. And you can see here, there's a little tab which comes out, which obviously slides back and forth there. And it hooks onto the hairband. Here. So your hairband hooks around there, and that's what pulls your. You know, it is what it is. It's rudimental, but it achieves the result. Yeah, nothing super fancy, but I guess it works. Easy enough to disable if you don't want it. You just take the hairband off. I don't know, some people don't like the thing for that reason. I don't know. Alright, I'm going to get this stock off. Interestingly enough, this stock, being that it's kind of like M4-ish, houses the battery. That's cool. Because if you recall, most of the other AKs house the battery up front here. And that's kind of annoying because it's difficult to get out if you're like trying to change batteries in the middle of a game, if that happens. And it's just a bit of a pain. Whereas this is, being that it is in the buffer tube, it does make it easier to change batteries on the fly. You could also potentially fit bigger batteries than you can fit in the Alpha King or the RX AK, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. Alright, I'm going to undo this. I think I'm going to take my usual approach of undo screws first, ask questions later. Let's get into it. So I think there's two of these They look like 2.5mm Allen screws. There's one on each side of the stock, and I'm just going to assume that's what holds this buffer tube adapter on. They are nasty self-tappers, but sort of what we come to expect. Alright, there we go. Oh, look at that! There's an additional plug here. So you can unplug that, and that unplugs your buffer tube, which then you've still got the wire in the buffer tube. That's neat, but kind of, yeah, it's interesting, because I know in previous blasters, when you pull the buffer tube off, you sort of like trying to slide it off over the wire, and it becomes a pain. But you got this additional little wire in the buffer tube wire. Kind of cool, kind of unnecessary, but one of my gripes with Jingming in general has always been that the wiring is not very thoughtful for the person who's pulling it apart. And I gotta say, that's a lot of the time how I decide whether I like a blaster or not, is how it comes apart, because I mean, I spend most of my time pulling them apart, don't I? So probably arguably more time pulling them apart than actually using them. So that's that. Okay, so the pistol grip just unscrews off the bottom and comes off. It's a nice solid pistol grip. I do like a solid grip. Looks like you've got a proprietary type of gearbox here, so you got pistol grip bolts into the bottom there. I don't think that's a standard feature on a V3. I think most of these AK boxes are V3 type boxes. I'm imagining Jingming, in their usual fashion, have made some sort of hybrid. It's probably not a V3 box, it's probably some sort of hybrid. Have like a Gen 8 top on a V3 bottom or something like that, I'm assuming. Alright, where do we go from here? Good question. Maybe I'll see if I can get the front end off. Alright, I'll start by taking these two screws here. Could go somewhere with it. And then there's another two on the top, which I'll take as well. I can see a couple of little small Phillips self-tappers in there as well, which I might leave till later. Let's start with the main big looking ones first. I think there's two in the top here as well. I'll go there. Most of the other AKs tear down with pins, which is nice, I like that. Alright, I wonder if this locks similar to the... No. That... Oh, maybe it does. I don't actually see... I don't... There we go. Alright, so that... There we go. Alright, that comes... Once that little piece there is flipped up, you can slide that back out, which is similar to the Alpha King, the way it works. And the bottom... Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. Alright. That is a long boy. How long is that? Let me get a measuring tape. Alright. 46 centimeters. I think that is officially the longest barrel I've seen. Oh no, actually, I think the bolt actions kind of have a long barrel too. But it's one of the longest barrels that I've seen on a blaster. Now, if we look down here, you can see the T-piece is actually screwed down into the receiver, which is cool. I like that because, you know, you don't have, there's no slop there, which is good. I like it. Alright, so I'll undo those screws that hold the barrel in, and now the barrel should be loose. Loose, but not coming out. Alright, there is a pin here. That should be the pin that holds the gearbox in. Just need a pair of pliers. One sec. Alright. Okay, pin out. Now, that pin seems to be the only thing I can see securing the gearbox in there. Unless there's something else that I'm missing. Oh, that's also interesting. The button which releases the top dust cover is actually integral to the gearbox. It's a moulding part of the gearbox, which yeah, I guess that means you cannot use a different gearbox in this. You must use this gearbox, which Jinming like to do. It's not a bad thing because Jinming makes some awesome gearboxes. So yeah, it's not terribly bad. Alright, I can lift the gearbox up enough to remove the barrel and T-piece. It's a funky looking T-piece. Now I'll have to also unscrew the terminal plate because all the wires are connected to the gearbox through this plate. I mean, they're not connected, they're just tucked in there, but I think it's going to be easier to remove the whole lot of wires intact than it would be to try and not do that. That would be... Alright, so what I had assumed to be a single cast molded piece here is actually not. This comes off. Look at that. And then there's a screw under there. And that is what's holding the box in there. This should now come off. And the box should be free. Ish. It is still a very tight fit, so it does require a little bit of a wiggle. Also, this tail lead has to come out of the back there. So just keep that in mind. Alright, and there it is. There it is. The crazy J11 V3 Gen 8 hybrid. It's a cool looking mechanism there. So you've got a linkage at front here to stop the trigger from moving. Let's just get this bit. Move it down 1 notch, and she goes, allows the trigger to move, moves this linkage, this out of the way, and it also moves this, which goes through to the other side, which moves your selector plate. Which is, I mean, it's nothing new if you've seen V3 boxes before, but it's a funky bit of engineering. Especially this bit, the double linkage. You got, it's moving the safety and the select at the same time. Maybe I'm the only one who finds that satisfying. I'm a bit of a mechanical junkie, so do like mechanical things that move, gears. I love that. Anyway, we want to see what's inside, don't we? We can kind of guess, I guess. It's going to look probably very similarly, internally very similar to a J9 or a Gen 8 for that matter. Motor, it appears that it's a 460. I can confirm that with a caliper or something. Caliper's not handy, but I do have the old tape measure there. Yep, 460. So for those playing at home, that's 46 millimeters. 460. If it was a 480, it'd be 48 millimeters. Alright, talking about flashing and quality control and things, have a look at this. Alright, look right here. Look at that. Look at that fitment. It's so bad. Let me pop this out so I can show you. Okay, let's see if I can get right in here. Alright, look at that flashing right there. Look. There we go. That is so bad that it's actually forced this little cap upwards. And I don't know if you can see it. Can you see this line? Just there. That's a crease from where this thing is being forced upwards, and the receiver, you can see there that shiny spot. That's where the receiver has squashed it because it's such a tight fit. Just all because of this flashing. I don't know if the video really does justice to that. I don't know if it really picks it up, but yeah, I'm gonna clean that off with a knife or something. Alright, I will pop the motor off the bottom. Phillips number 2 generally. It's worth noting, I guess, that the negative is on this side, because I think you can get this wrong. Not really. If you remember that the screws screw in from this side, you should be fine. So we've got standard nylon Jinming stuff in there. Let's see if I can remove this without too much hassle. The trick is popping it over this clip here. Sorry, I know I'm zoomed in here, so you probably can't See what I'm pointing at? Alright. Gonna leave all these wires and stuff intact as much as possible. Even though it does make it a little bit more of a pain to work on. I think it'll just be easier to put back together. Interesting, the screw that came out of the top there was a fine thread. Everything else is a coarse self-tapping thread. Unless that's a new thing Jinming are doing. I think I pulled apart a Gen 9 last night and it had fine thread screws across the top, which is usually they're all these coarse self-tapping type ones. Alright, this screw is a little bit painful, so I just have to put a bit of force underneath it to bring it out. There we go. Alright, remove this beautiful mechanism. Probably could have left that on there, but oh, this is cool. I can actually test the compression on the plunger without taking it out of the box because of this blowback tab that's on it. Small things. Alright. Pop it out. And there it is. Okay, so there's a small spring here which obviously is for the button. Got our standard Jinming run-of-the-mill nylon gears in there. Okay. Which is all nylon with a tab on it for the blowback. Didn't seem to have great compression, so I might just chuck an O-ring in while I'm here. Might as well. Anti-reverse catch. Looks like a pretty standard job. This trigger mechanism is a thing of beauty. Look at it, gorgeous. Alright, I'm going to do an O-ring. There's a lot of spooge on this O-ring, so I'll transfer that onto the new one. Alright, might just pop this cylinder out, just to get this in. You've all seen O-rings before, I'm sure. I store my O-rings on the outside of a cylinder, so they're always a little bit pre-stretched. Ah, that's much better. No vacuum, plenty of compression. That's what I like. That's what everyone likes. Alright, I'll just pop that one back in. Not going to do anything else to this. Just going to take a look. Yeah, look. It is a Gen 8 V3 hybrid. It is what it is. It's what we've come to expect from Jinming. These gears, you could replace them with metal ones. I'm not going to because not on the cards for this right now. And I mean, these gears will probably go quite well for a while, so long as you don't overspring the thing. The standard spring that I took out of it looks pretty much like a standard Gen 9 spring. I have a standard Gen 9 spring right here. Looks very similar. Oh, wait. Is it? Let's put that on the spring dyno just for just to be sure. Let's chuck it on there. Okay, so the spring reads a 10.9 on the spring dyno, which is fairly strong for a standard Jinming spring, which means they've upped their spring game a little bit since the old days. Standard Jinming spring would usually push about 9 or 10. So this is up on the high end of the scale. It's a 1.1 spring still. Incidentally, I've got a Gen 9 spring here, a current model Gen 9 spring, and it's about the same. So it just means that Jinming have actually updated their springs across their entire range. So the old Gen 9 of yesterday is not equal to the Gen 9 of today. They've just put newer springs in. I guess the newest batch has got slightly better springs. J11 also a slightly better spring. Pretty good. Pretty good. I think it was 250 out of the box. I'm not expecting a huge increase with. Not that I'm not really doing any mods here that would increase that. I'm not changing the spring. I'm keeping it standard. I did do the O-ring, so I might get more consistency, but I don't think I'll get too much more FPS. Yeah, measurements. People like measurements when they watch these videos. So 1.1 millimeters was the spring. I'll get the barrel here. The internal diameter is 7.5. I just moved it a little. Yeah, around 7.5. So it's a 45, I think, 45 centimeter barrel I measured it at. Yeah, 45. Can't see that because I'm off camera. 40. There we go. 45. Plus or minus the little bit that sinks down into the T-piece. Maybe 46 if you consider that extra centimeter there. Okay. Alright. I guess I'll whack this all back together. Oh, something else I just noticed. Here. Look at this. This is another thing that Jinming are great at. I love this about Jinming. They always give you a little spot to put your mag priming switch. So you can install mag priming in this quite easily. There it is, a little spot, just pops in there. You just have to run the wires for it. And so I think the Gen 8, the Gen 9, the ACR, the AK, all have the little spot where you can put your mag priming switch, which just means that when you pull back the charging handle, cocking handle, priming handle, whatever you want to call it, it'll push on that button when it's all the way back. And Jinming are good at that. They never give you the mag priming option, except for the Scar V2. Sorry, they did in the Scar V2. Yeah, so they rarely give you the mag priming option, but they do install all the stuff that's required to make it easy to fit one, for some reason. Yeah, so that's another cool thing about Jinming, and in this case the J11. You can add mag priming. How many other AKs have got mag priming? Just the RX, I think, comes with it. Off the top of my head, could be wrong. Yeah, alright, cool. I'm going to put this back together. I'm not going to film me putting it back together. I know some people have asked in the past for me to film putting it back together, but I'm not going to because it's going to take too long, and you could just watch the video in reverse. Just play it backwards. I just pulled it apart. Do it all in reverse. Easy. Alright. Okay, well, I guess what we've got here pretty much sums up Jinming in a nutshell, I'd say. Excellent gearbox, good power, cheap externals. That's pretty much the story with just about all Jinming. Great blaster for if it's your first blaster. Lots of room for improvement. Well, I mean, I say lots of room for improvement. They've built the blaster specifically with things like mag prime in mind. So if you put the switch in there, you can actually mag prime with that. The thing is solid. It needs a bit of cleaning up here and there, but I mean, if you're into AKs and you want to get into gel blasters relatively cheaply at a good start, like this is a good thing. Jinming, like I said, they make excellent gearboxes, powerful. Could do with a few, aluminium barrel would be nice. You could even go with a slightly bigger spring. Yeah, there's definitely room for improvement, but it is not bad. It's a good starter. I like it. I'm surprised that I like it. I was expecting not to like it for some reason. But it's a contender. It's a nice piece. Quality control is something that we've always kind of lacked in a lot of things. This flashing is ridiculous. Some of the stuff that I found inside that I had to clean up. Yeah. But it is what it is. It is not bad. Not bad. So yeah, I guess I'm slightly impressed, but not too impressed. There it is. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget, I still have some patches left, so you can hit me up for patches, and please click that buy me a coffee link and buy me a coffee if you'd like to support my channel, because every little bit counts. Helps me do these videos, helps me keep getting out there for you guys. Alright, that's all for me. I'm going to pack her up, boys. See you next time.